Dennis Fire Station Building Committee to order. Today is October 7th, 2025. It is 5:32 in the evening. Those present: Dennis, Tim, Chief, Kevin, Lisa, Paul from the public, Seth 2.0, and Jason Wright
1.0. Oh, gee.
So we'll start with the minutes from 9/29. Has everyone reviewed them?
I'll move the minutes.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next thing we'll,
Before you just move on, I just wanted to let you know that Lauren has submitted her resignation. The last day is Friday, so we're gonna miss her.
They don't work for us.
sorry.
Get that in the minutes. Thanks, Lauren.
You can't.
Jason Wright, Commissioner, this year, or will this year.
We will, that's for damn sure. I've never seen anyone pick up meeting minutes the way she did.
Better,
Yeah.
faster, seamless. Yep.
Right after that.
We haven't-
First set after
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I don't think we've made maybe one correction that really
Yeah.
changed anything.
Right.
Sorry to see you go, Lauren. Okay, so while I was looking for it and couldn't find it, I did see the final draft of the postcard and all the changes that we had described were made on it. So I guess
Can you send that up to us?
I could if I find it.
I'll find it and send it out.
I can't fire up my email because the
We struggle
Wi-Fi,
with computers.
so I was looking
This is
through.
why we have this all printed out.
But I guess what I can do is send that out and just, what I'd like to know is if everyone approves, and if so, we'll just let the railroad know. Next thing is, we had Teams meeting yesterday morning with Brian, Joe, the chief, and myself. And a very short meeting. The bottom line is that we're switching to propane. So we have to find a location for tanks.
I got a communication late this afternoon about that, and before he sent me the communication, I actually drew on one of my plans in the office where I would put them. And I only printed one because it was like last second. He put them exactly where I would have put them. So,
How big are they?
3 1,000-gallon
1,000
tanks
at
at
Park
Park
Street.
Street and 2 at Sanborn Road. 1,000 gallons.
They in the ground?
they're probably gonna be underground,
That was my question.
yes.
And, I mean, they'll tell you how close the windows are, where they can and can't.
Well, they have, where he's got them located, they're more than 25 feet away from the building.
Yeah. We've got sewer pump stations in the ground, it's pretty common nowadays.
Yeah, at first, if it was only gonna be one tank or something like that, I would perhaps maybe thought of up above ground, but
Sure.
with that many, I prefer them to be underground, out of sight, out of mind.
Okay.
And they will take care of all of the installation and piping to the building. Whoever we pick as a vendor to supply the propane. Most of the vendors around here would require a 3-year contract to make sure they make their money back on their tanks.
Just so
Still
you
gonna
know,
be plumbed for natural gas?
Well, the inside of the building will still be pumped for natural gas.
Liberty Utilities is not a propane distributor, never have been.
No.
Right.
So,
He was trying to contact, Brian was trying to contact Liberty about propane installations, but. he was
all right, so the other things we discussed is the package that you're looking at right now, which are the individual sheets are renderings and floor plans and site plans that will be put on boards. So these will be on the easels for people to mow around. The slides that are in the package are slides of the PowerPoint presentation. So before the end of the evening, we'll review all of them and make any changes. They're continuing
Yeah,
to.
that's gonna be correct. The fire truck facing the wrong way, is that what you're pointing at?
No, I mean, they've got blue, you want red, but you're trying to make them match.
No, they're supposed to match, and that's one of the gray is, it's actually gray, not blue, on the police station.
Yeah,
And
okay.
they're supposed to match, that's one of the things that they're supposed to correct.
Harmonious and all that, okay.
And the fire truck's supposed to be facing out, not in, things like that. A few other things.
Let's drive through.
Yeah.
Is the flag correct?
In your conversation with Lorero, is it gonna be a handout piece that,
Jason, please.
is there gonna be a handout piece for the residents to take home with them?
We did not discuss that, but we can this evening.
I don't know what that would be.
I think
but-
it would be a good idea. Not, certainly not this, maybe, well, let's review the slides and see if we can come up with a compilation of slides and stuff, but before we do that, what I'd like to do is get through my notes of the meeting. They're continuing to obtain pricing from the subcontractors. He anticipates having a guaranteed maximum price by November 3rd. So you'll see on the slides that there are several slides with the cost that will be finalized sometime around November 3rd. And the last thing that we talked about was the permitting, and Lisa offered to help us do a request for proposal for
Special inspections.
Special inspections and testing.
I have a list, I didn't bring it. I was gonna wait to get a building description, and I'll throw together a draft and we can review it at our meeting. It's not something that's in a critical path where we
Right,
need it within
right.
the next month or so. I'll get it done, just didn't have it tonight.
Okay, we're not in a rush on that.
But as far as the permitting question, it was about the drainage permitting. That's just the IBC special inspection. The question I had last time is who's doing the permitting, like, for the drainage, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's.
Because they
Whoever-
excluded it.
Yeah, I know. Whoever, usually who's ever doing the work is the one that applies for the permit.
132 is a state road, DOT may kick it back to the road agent until for drainage.
both buildings
Depends
are
on-
on
yeah.
132.
Well, 130, yeah, Park Street's also, I mean, yeah, you partner up and they may push it back down.
But we don't know who's even filing the application.
No.
I mean, they're building it, they should.
They should be. We don't have the expertise in,
Right.
on the fire department or any of our committees.
I just noticed they specifically excluded it, which is
Yeah.
not
It's kind of weird when
okay.
you think about, okay, so you're gonna leave it up, you're gonna leave your $20 million project, so if it gets approved, you get a $20 million project that you're gonna leave up to somebody not getting it in.
I don't know, I mean, they're showing,
Drainage permits.
I assume their site plans are gonna show drainage, you know, the drainage pond or whatever
They
you wanna
do.
call it,
They
detention
do.
pond,
Yeah.
so something's not right.
Yeah, if it's back on the property, it's maybe DES, but if it was, it's got to do with the road, then DOT and the road would kick in.
But either way, somebody's gonna do it.
I think all the drainage is to remain on the property, so it'll probably be more DES than going out to the street. The only street excavation that I would see right now would either be the water line or the sewer line. The sewer line for Sanborn Road, well, depending upon where the engineers want the sewer connection to come into the buildings, that may change from where they are currently. And I know at Sanborn Road, they have to bring approximately 1,000 feet up the road. And I don't know if it's in the road and to the side of the paved way, I don't, that's their gig.
So that was the extent of the team's meeting. So now what, if there are no other questions on any
Lisa,
of that
Can you send
discussion?
me a note on that exception thing, an email or something, so I can talk to Brian about it?
Sure.
Thank you.
So let's take a look at the board displays. We'll start with Park Street. So we should have a floor plan and a rendering. Are there any questions or comments on that?
Yes. And this, you can see the dark dashed lines is the drainage, the site drainage.
We're looking at the floor plan and the rendering right now.
Oh, okay, I thought you were looking at.
Should be
Oh, okay.
this one.
It is, Park Street, you said,
Park Street first.
on the rendering, they missed Derek's comment about the roof line, and if you look at their actual rendering in their package, they're missing the roof.
Well, we spoke about that and Brian is convinced that it's in the shadows. So,
Just gave a little dark, yeah.
Yeah. We did discuss that at our meeting yesterday, and he says, you can't see it, but it's there, he says.
Okay, as long as it's there.
yeah, it's on the,
Well, if it were gonna match what they gave us for elevations, you would see how the peak of that roof lines up right here? You would see it. You definitely would see it right here, the peak. Right?
When they build it, it'll be there.
It'll be there, right.
all right, on the rendering and the floor plan, are there any comments? Or things you would like changed?
This looks like it's all brick.
So that's one of the things I have to correct. It's supposed to be block, and it looks like brick.
I like the brick look.
I know the brick looks,
It
does
looks,
look nice.
it does look nice.
No,
it's only what, a couple $1 million?
they can get architectural block that looks like brick, right, and it's colored and all that.
I mean, you can get colored block that color, but it won't look like brick.
It's the police station.
It'll look like block.
We did a block with a brick over because of the holistic consideration she wanted to do. Tactical.
So, I'm gonna ask the question, why isn't it blocked on the outside?
They're supposed to correct that. These are not the final renderings. These are what we have right now. And I think he said by Monday they should have the updated renderings. Because they're doing this, that's out of house. They hired an outside contractor to do the renderings.
Do we know what the line at the top of the overhead doors is?
That gray line, it's well, the lintels above the doors, actual lintels, but it's just a accent line.
But it's usually your solid block lintel anyway.
Yeah,
Fill
it
it
just-
with the blue line.
just to break it up a
It's usually
little.
a different color. But it is architectural.
Now, there was discussion about color. Is this the color that we're gonna go with? Because
It's supposed to more closely match the police station, color-wise.
Both buildings?
Yes.
You do with that sexy yellow that the DPW in Northfield is painting if you want.
The PD is what, white vinyl side?
I am joking.
I don't know. I drive by twice a day.
Why do we want Park Street building to be colored like the Tilton Police Station? I get it here, almost.
That's not in.
Other than for the two of them to have some similarity.
It's kind of like branding.
Like your red paint?
Yes.
I did notice on one of them that has Tilton Dash Northfield Fire Units. and
That's how we spell it.
Yeah, but on the other building it doesn't.
Another- Okay, well, they'll have
Or it just
So
said
you
fire
want the
department.
hyphen or
remember?
not?
Tilton hyphen Northfield Fire and
And
EMS.
Right.
I would never have got that.
I'm gonna stick with the things that people hate me.
any other comments?
So they're gonna change the blue to gray, and they're gonna change the brick to look like brick instead of brown. right?
They're gonna more closely match the colors of the
With
3D.
But you were saying this was gonna be the same color as that.
I've never seen a blue fire station before.
This,
The PD's not blue.
the PD's not blue, it's gray. It looks blue here, but
Yep,
it's really gray.
Windows on the 3 bays in Northfield and no windows in.
Yeah, that was another correction. I probably should have sent forward you the email that I thought of everything that I put on it, but I thought we'd have it fixed by now, and
And the man doors are red in Northfield and gray in Tilton.
right, they're supposed to be gray.
Do you need windows in the overhead doors?
Yes,
Why?
light.
Light in.
You need natural light. Is it actually a standard for natural light that you have to have a certain amount of natural light within any unoccupied space, not closets, but spaces that.
Is that enough? Like, there's no other windows in
The
It's not like there's any windows.
depends upon the actual space, and I assume that those will be enough. If you remember, when we were considering not having on Sanborn Road just a block wall instead of doors in the back, they also had to add windows in the back because of that lighting standard. Not a lot of windows, but some of them. Some windows.
Any other comments on Park Street? So let's look at the Park Street plan view and site plan.
So I'm looking at the drainage into the triangle on the back. To the right, is that like where the drainage area would overflow? Is that what they're trying to show there with that little short?
I think what they have in a retention pond is a riser. And I think that's showing the riser where if the level got to that point, it would drain out. And I think the blue line, if I remember correctly, is the edge of the wetlands.
Delineation.
Yeah, if you look at the grades, I think they're gonna your outlet would be over here and it would come down into wetlands, right?
Yes.
So
That's how I see it.
That's how I would, that's probably a headline right there. I still don't think you need the retaining wall from the courtyard towards the street, because we're not putting that parking lot in. You could just use all the backfill you dig out of the station over here and have a slope and not the retaining wall. That's,
It's not shown in this rendering, but in the previous one that they sent, it was all four sides of the building, and it showed a walkway,
right.
an elevated walkway. But I don't remember if it showed a slope or not.
No, but I'm just saying, we're gonna have all that extra fill, you could have a slope and you just change your grading. But
Yeah,
it's probably minimal
in
at
this
this point.
packet, they do show the,
They show a retaining wall.
yeah.
Is it a retaining wall, or is it just
It looks
an
like-
elevated walkway?
And we need the retaining wall to hold back the fill.
And it looks like it's got railing all the way across.
All that water and snow is shedding off the back side of the roof. You don't know what your 20-year erosion can look like, right?
Well, that's concrete, I agree with that. I'm just saying, you don't need a retaining wall. You can have a concrete and you've got a drain, they've got a drain in the middle anyway for the slab, but from this point over, I don't think you need a retaining wall. Because you can grade it so that you don't. It doesn't matter.
Do you actually think there's one there?
Well, they're showing, well, maybe that's just the edge of their, well, if they're putting a handrail in, then yeah, they got a drop off, right?
Well, there is a drop off there, yeah, because,
It's shown in the packet. It looks like there's a whole retaining wall at the back as well.
Right, and all I'm saying
well,
is
the back needs one.
the back you need it. But you have all that extra fill, now we're gonna pay to take it off site when you can put it right there and you don't have a hole anymore.
Well, that's certainly one of the things we told them that we wanted to use to fill
But
on
again,
site if at all
for
possible.
purposes of the presentation, I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? It's kind of a nitpicky
Well, that'll make a
thing.
price difference.
It will make a price difference, but
The retaining wall on the back of the wall, back of the building?
well, the building itself has a higher foundation wall, so that acts as a retaining wall.
Not actually a retaining wall, it's foundation.
It's a combo, right? It's a retaining wall that your building is also sitting.
It's not set back from the building.
No.
So what Lisa would like is that lack of retaining wall shown on the elevations here.
Well, I don't think they need it. If they think they need it, then justify why we need it, yes.
Yes, the engineer has an answer.
Right.
But this shows no slope,
It shows a slope just like this. That's what
right?
those grades.
But it does not show a slope
No,
coming
it shows a
from,
retaining,
from the building going this way.
correct. And that's what I was saying you could do, is you could have a slope. Because you're only dropping, if you look at the difference, that's 440 and you're at 443 on the sidewalk,
It's
3 feet. Then it goes, another foot. It's a small retaining wall, and I don't see that you need it. I mean, way over here, you're going from 440, almost 443 to 438. So now you're starting to get there 5 feet or so. But if you're digging this out, we know we have bad fill, right? Or bad soils in there. Why not put it over here and regrade your soil? But I'm not the engineer.
No, but what you're saying makes sense.
Otherwise, you're taking all that fill that you're throwing away and you're trucking it somewhere
And that'll
instead
make
of.
it,
So Ellis,
This'll
we
make it
talked to
nicer.
Ellis about this maybe 2 or 3 meetings ago, and maybe it's not reflected in these, but we really won't know until we see the real set of things. These are,
So I guess if we're conservative in showing it, it costs more, so now you're showing the public more money. If you take it out later and you save money, that's a good thing, right? I mean, I don't want to nitpick it to death now, but that would be my thought on later on. You save the trucking costs and then you save the retaining.
Anything else on Park Street?
Where were they putting the tanks, what you said?
so to, you on Park Street there?
Yep.
All right, to the left of the, see where the shed is? To the right of the shed,
Oh, and on, across the,
across the
Right
access
away.
road.
okay, so over here,
what is that?
propane.
Okay.
Okay, Sanborn Road. So we've got the colors, we've got a hyphen on the front signage, we got windows in the doors. I think the chief said that the gray is correct.
Raised here.
I kinda like the red myself, but we could argue colors till we're blue in the face. All right,
So what's involved in putting propane tanks in the ground? And don't just say digging, other than putting them on the street.
All right, so you dig the hole. Depending upon where the water table is, you may have to pour a pad and anchor them down, or you may not, depending upon the water table. Usually stone if you don't have a water table problem. You have to put the bags in for the corrosion, and then it's piped from the top of the tank to the building. And there's a regulator at the tank, and then there's a regulator at the building. We inspect those, inspect them.
And if they were sitting on the ground, you would have to pour a pad?
Only if, depends, if the water table is high, you have to pour a pad to hold them down, and you strap them to the pad. If the water table.
That's if they're in the ground.
That's if they're in the ground.
But
If they're on the ground, if that.
If they're sitting on the ground, you still pour a pad.
house.
And which are we proposing, buried, you're saying?
I think with 3 tanks or 2 tanks, we'd probably bury them.
Yeah, aesthetically.
And protects,
Aesthetically, share?
I've got a 500 pig in my house, it's buried out like,
yeah.
so that.
My house, mine was buried at the house, and it's much easier to maintain everything around it.
I honestly would be shocked if we have natural gas here at either place within 10 years. I'd be shocked.
Yep.
Yeah, supply.
They're probably 3 or 4 years out in planning for what they want to do, and then it's going to be a multi-year project to get that completed. So yeah, I think Paul's right. 8, 10, maybe 11 years before it becomes available to us.
You know, less of the pads, you know, if you don't quite have the pads, it's not that drastic or that much more money to put them around. Probably wouldn't be any more than what it would cost to build a pad on top of the ground and set them.
Right. I don't think there's a water table problem at either location.
All right, Chief. This is one of those things that drives me nuts. If you take this drawing and hold it in the correct orientation, now you flip the page, you're looking at the front of the building, you're looking at the front of the building. Now you take this one, you're looking at the front of the building. Now this one is upside down.
Yes, and I can tell you why. So when I printed, so when you set the printer up to print these things on 2-sided, I forgot to check flip it on the short edge rather than the long edge. So that's why it came out that way, and I didn't want to reprint it.
No, that would be a waste of paper.
Yes.
And toner.
All right. Any other questions or comments on the renderings or the presentation board?
Did they correct all their spelling errors? I didn't check their spelling again, they had able and share storage.
There is a
There is a
T.
T. It's just for presentation purposes. Generally, you keep your wording within the room, even if you have to make another one. I won't criticize the drafting. But they're gonna be putting this up on the screen.
Bigger board, they can pick up the font, probably fit.
Well, no, it's gonna stay whatever size it is. Their lettering is gonna change with it. So the scale is the scale. It's just, where they go toilet, shower, room, all like.
Yeah, Joe Perry is a young man, so he has really good eyes. So he doesn't wanna, well, he hasn't increased the
It's a
font
draft-
size.
But it's a
If you're gonna put it on a
drafting
poster board
standard.
like this,
Yeah,
a 10-point font is adequate and will,
but they're not going to change it. They're
Well,
just
they
gonna
should.
keep the whole thing.
they should when they print it onto postcards.
Well,
No,
when it
because
gets,
everything
when it gets
is-
onto a big board, the print will get bigger as well,
I
so.
would agree.
Right, but it's
You're not
still
gonna be at a
not gonna
3-point
meet.
font.
No.
But it's still not gonna meet, I think you're missing my point. Like toilet, shower room is all like squished together and goes across the walls, whereas you would break it up and say toilet/shower room and just
And
reuse your.
stack it rather than,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a
Turn
drafting
out
standard,
here,
it's a
yeah.
drafting standard for
If we made
clarity.
it fit the room now, none of us would be able to read it, because it would be like
No,
one,
the-
one
yes,
point.
yes, you would, you just move the word table up, and instead of having 2 lines, you have 3. It's a drafting, I don't know, I've been doing it for 20.
I've been on a drafting table myself, I did.
You wouldn't run your word across the wall.
I took drafting in the 7th grade.
Anyway, whatever. It just makes, for a presentation, it's not as, you're not gonna wow them, let's put it that way. In the end, it won't make a difference.
Okay. Any other comments on those poster boards. All right, let's go to the presentation. So these are the individual slides that will be shown on the projector screen. So the first page, that's not our truck.
Yeah, I have a comment right here. I'm gonna send them a picture about one of our wrenches to use instead of, this is an FDNY truck.
Give them a ladder or something. Load them up.
Okay, first page, history.
So, where it gets down to 12 Center Street, living quarters for 3 firefighters, it's 3 firefighters and 1 captain, or 1 officer.
Should we be giving the square footage of the facilities?
The current square footage.
Yeah, because they're saying, we talk about doubling the building size, but we don't ever talk about size. I'm throwing the question out there.
What do you get now?
What is the bay space on the left of the building called?
What do you refer to it as?
The lean-to,
It's not mentioned
the
there.
boat bay, sometimes it's a boat bay, sometimes it's a lean-to.
I mean, Center Street is what, 1,000 on the second floor, 1,000 on the first floor? I mean, it's not a big footprint.
No, it's 50 by 50-ish
I mean,
on the first floor. The second floor is like 40 by 50-ish.
yeah, it's small. That's what I'm saying.
It's as big as Park Street. Square footage.
Right. Park Street's gonna be no have, and
Right. But there's a bay space at Center Street that's not listed.
that, oh, the one that's
The shed,
not under
the
air.
lean-to.
It says 2 apparatus bays, but there's 3 overhead doors.
Yeah. All we need is one good snow load on that, and it's gonna come down.
So how should we refer to it? 2 apparatus bays and shed bay?
The utility bay. Utility bays used often.
Because it's not heated.
So do you think that should be added, Kevin?
You want to be as accurate as possible.
Well, why don't you call it a cold storage bay?
Yeah, because I think
Differentiate between, your apparatus bays are heated. Yes, I mean, it's cold storage, it's not a heated
climate
apparatus. bay.
vented and.
So can we call it a cold storage utility bay or something?
Let's call it
Utility
utility
bays,
bays, leave it at that.
It tells them there's something there.
Right. Well, when you're making the jump to Sanborn, it's not like you're going from 2 to 6, you're going from 3-ish, and then you go firm. Trying to get everything under air. Heat. You're gonna apply the vented.
Do you want to put the square footage?
Do we want people to compare square footage? I guess that's the, do you want, I mean, it gives you an idea of how small it is. But
It's a double-edged sword. Somebody's
It
gonna come
can
out the
be.
meeting and go, well, you're tripling your space, well, why do we need that? We've always been on this. It's,
well, somebody's gonna triple it.
Square footage is relevant.
yeah.
on
Well,
all- on
but
all
they are
of it.
history slides too, it's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
I mean, you get into the weeds as we go on.
You know,
So it's just a highlight of the history, I mean, and we're gonna brief the sizes as we go. I mean, because these are gonna be, each slide's gonna be briefed. How much time do you wanna spend on each slide?
As much as it takes to convert that to a yes vote in the meeting.
Right. But I can tell you what, it's probably not gonna be the history slide that diverts people.
So, do you want the square footage listed on district
No.
facilities or not?
I don't think we should.
Okay.
Personally, I'm not speaking for everyone, I'm speaking for myself.
So at what point should it be listed?
Well, if somebody asks a question, we'll answer it.
The new building size will be on the drawings.
So, are we on the history of Park Street yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think, Kevin?
Well, we're telling them everything about the building.
Oh, I don't think we're telling them everything.
Well,
We're not telling them how many horses were kept there through the late 1800s.
There's only one bathroom, or the stairs are really steep, or, you know. What are the key points though?
That our equipment has to be designed special to fit in there.
So when you look at the history of Center Street, you say living quarters for 3 firefighters.
And
Is
one,
that-
and one company officer.
Does that mean there are 4 dorm rooms?
There is one room that has 3 firefighters in it, and one room that has the company officer in it.
So that shows how, the way it's being described here, you can compare it to, okay, in Sanborn Road, you're building 4 dorm rooms. You look at this and you go, well, you got enough for 4 Center Street. It's not the same.
Close.
This doesn't.
In the room where the 3 firefighters sleep, if one sneezes, the other one catches it.
Right, so where it says living, would you call it a bunk room or what?
It's a bunk room, yeah.
I'm just trying to make it sound like it's small and if you've never been there, you wouldn't know.
Small and awkward and uncomfortable and would never
So-
be built today.
So you could say 3,
Two dorm
2 dorm
rooms
rooms.
for 3
One bunk room,
firefighters.
1 dorm room, one bunk room and 1 dorm room.
Well, the other one's not even
For
a
4.
dorm room, it's a dorm room / office, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's his office too.
So the captain has.
Well,
a
I
bed in his
think we ought
office.
to describe that better, don't you? Don't you want people to go, oh, those poor guys?
No, I
No.
don't want that.
Okay,
Or do you,
Absolutely not.
so leave it alone.
So
That's
you're,
what saying.
Lisa, you are a very detailed person.
Yes.
And you want to see all that detail in everything that we do here, which I like a lot for myself. But then when I step back and try and look, what is the general public, how much detail are they looking in this history thing? Not much. They want to get to the meat and potatoes, which is later in the...
Nope.
That's what I think. I don't know.
That's what I just said, I mean, how much time do you wanna spend on
When we
this
got
slide?
when we got the PD finally passed in Tilton, we definitely had to pitch the need and show the piles of boxes and the files and how cramped and how you had to, there was a room this size where you processed an adult and a juvenile and males and females all in the same. You have to pitch that need and why you're deficient, why this building is, at Center Street is non-compliant. So there's a piece of that. How deep you go, that's anybody's guess. There's certainly a case, and I think you'll get to the point where you say, hey, listen, here's the definite, there's definitely a need. So you've got to paint that.
I would love at these meetings to invite the general public to come and
Oh, yeah.
come and visit. Well, I'm glad to show you every square inch of it.
but do you put up an easel that has those photos on it with descriptions of
Well,
each one?
I remember Wysense did a damn PowerPoint with all the pictures and all the basement and everything at the old PD. It was a quick blow through. It wasn't a lot of time. Hey, listen, we are not compliant. Evidence storage, we're not compliant. Process, we're not compliant. Hold it, we're not compliant.
Well, I think it's,
And those are a lot of safety and, there's a pitch to be made, but you gotta get to, here's what we can do, right? You know, I mean,
That's what we're lacking.
I think it's more important to have that visual aspect of Center Street because we're not gonna have a meeting. We are having a meeting at Park Street, so people will be able to see that, walk around afterwards. So,
What I've seen done, used to do, is you put a picture of something that you want people to see, like the small dorm room for 3 people.
Yeah.
And you just put it, it's in your PowerPoint up on the side and here, where it says living quarters, that makes it sound like you've got huge living quarters. I would say dorm room for 3 firefighters.
shared bunk space. or
Well, if you just say
shared-
dorm room for 3, it's saying you've got 3 people in one room. Where you're saying living quarters, that sounds, wow, 3. I think of a kitchen,
Everybody's got their own ensuite and bed.
Because that doesn't, the living quarters sounds grandiose, where I would put dorm room for 3 firefighters. Or single dorm room for 3 firefighters, or something that, but again, it's, I agree with you, I'm very detail oriented, but then I would put a picture here of everybody, of it cramped, or a floor plan, or some just one picture that kind of you go, ooh. I don't know, we may not have time for all that either. But in the end, we want a positive vote.
I don't think you should say anything that leads anyone anywhere. Then you're gonna get a poor me. These are what we see as the facts. You decide. For everything so don't play.
People feel like they're getting a sales job.
You have to
But
Sell 'em without
wording makes a difference.
making them feel like they're being sold.
When I read living quarters, I think, oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
So anyone who, close your ears, people. Anyone who's intelligent enough to make the decision on what to do doesn't need to be led anywhere. They can see what it is, they can see what we'd like. You don't need the carrot. Carrot's pretty offensive in some cases, and this is one. You don't want to be. What you don't want to do, and I've seen it done so many times, is that we're here, that's where we want to go. And somewhere along the line, the people you're leading them, you've got to. You don't want to be leading it. You don't want to dumb it down because.
Yeah, but you gotta show them. You gotta show them A, and you gotta show them B.
Yeah, what we like, and this is how we get there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of folks that come to these meetings that have never been in that building, that don't get it, that don't understand. And they're gonna spend hey, you work a 24-hour shift, and this is your life. You have this, what's the rest of the world doing in, 2025?
I think when you get back into the station, when they show the Center Street station, the front picture, it says a lot all by itself.
So back to the history, page 2. How do we want it to describe the living quarters?
Well, we know what Lisa would say. What would you say, Kevin?
I'm thinking that might be a great place for a picture. And you don't have to, this is where these people sleep. This is where they live. You want to live there? Or would you like to make it better? It might look like this. No, we need this because we can't sleep or whatever else. becoming more and more, I won't say not aware, because I'm always aware, but concerned about how the presentation goes, more so than that, how it's received. You can do all you can do is the best you can do. And to have someone going there that's on the edge, and then we say something or show something that was like, okay. You know, it's not gonna take a lot of that to flush this thing.
Maybe public hearings and the outreach sessions will flush out some of this, what the perception is and what the perspective is, and by the time we get to March, you maybe have a whole different read, or maybe you were on the right path all along. You gotta, that's, you gotta fish where the fish are, and I think the outreach stuff is really gonna tell a little bit of the story. You get, there'll be good Q&A, people, oh, I never knew that, or what's the big deal, or yeah, the opinions are gonna come from all over the place, and then from there into March is where you really gotta,
Okay, so who's briefing? It's Lorero?
Morero.
So Lorero's briefing. So I believe some of your worries are gonna be taken care of there. Lorero's not, they're a neutral party. I don't think they've done it before. They've done this plenty of times. I don't even really have to worry about them, with the carrot. They're not gonna be pitching, oh, woe is me. I can't believe they would be pitching any type of, woe is me, this is why I do it. I think they're gonna come in and brief it just like they've written it. It's like,
Well,
this is what, because, we're spending a lot of time on page 2, but when we drill down, that's what I'm saying. How much time do you wanna spend on, we're spending a lot of time right now on it, like, what do we want on there? Like I said, military, the principles of KISS, keep it simple, stupid, you know what? And then when you get to the meat and potatoes, when we start getting down there, they go into why we're here, right? Why are we here? Deficiencies. I believe they're gonna be very pragmatic about how they, I'd
A lot of
like to
these
see.
people look at, you see a screen with words on it and they just go, they don't really, they might read the words. You throw a picture there.
Yeah, 1,000 words.
Right, so, and I'm not saying to make the picture look bad, whatever, just show a picture of the living
A real
quarters.
picture.
A real
Right.
picture.
No,
and then just identify the
You could
deficiencies.
even put, I used to put 2 pictures per slide. And not to sway anybody, but so they knew what you were talking about. So you'd put a picture of the dorm room. You might even, we're talking about Center Street, you might put Center Street picture right there, or,
they're only neutral to a point, because there's 20 million reasons they want this to work.
and then you go to Park Street, so you put a picture of Park Street, and then you put a picture of, something else in Park Street, the interior of the bay. So people, they're listening, but they see a picture.
No, I don't, I
If you
agree
want me
with
to
that.
know something, tell me, but if you really want me to know, show me.
But that just
But it does
amplifies
add
the
work for the,
deficiencies.
dads, well, no, they insert a picture, right? But that's my thought. People don't like to see just words. Sometimes even a background of some of this stuff when you get to some of the other pages, and I'll wait till we get to it, it just makes it more interesting.
So this is their proposal, right?
This is what they're gonna
Their
have up
first
on their
draft.
screen.
Yeah.
And granted, we'll have to give them those pictures. Page by page.
Yeah, so we'll go to page 3.
So you have one restroom on Park Street. How many restrooms do you have in Center?
We have 1.5.
So was it important to point out the one restroom? I like the consistency. I don't care.
Basically, all for Park Street, just to say it's a garage with a bathroom.
comments on page 3.
Yeah, so can we just
Put a
put a
picture.
picture of the apparatus bay?
Yeah.
That makes sense, just so people, it doesn't take away from anything.
One of the, when, Paul, when Matt Ogier was talking to you when you were over at Park Street, he illustrated something to you that I'd been describing to other people, but I never showed him, but he showed it to you. When you open the door to the ladder and the engine, they hit each other. And if you got two people trying to get in the thing at the same time, you can't. You have to wait for one to get in and then the other. That's
I'll
how,
be honest with you, Chief, it was not very convincing to me.
it wasn't?
I'm like, so what? Honest.
What's the pause? And what's the addition in
How
time?
many times are there two men getting into adjacent trucks at exactly the same time?
On opposite sides. Don't most trucks leave there with a driver
Yeah.
and no one in the passenger seat? So far.
Depending upon how many people show up.
Right.
So I personally, I didn't find that very compelling. The way I look at it is you stagger the trucks 2 feet if it's that big of an issue. But that's just me.
Are we not building these bays wide enough to accommodate that? Is that the
Well,
plan?
the new station,
Over wide, in my opinion.
the new station's wide enough, yes.
Right, that's what.
We had nothing to do. We had nothing to do with the dissolution of Winnisquam or the sale of that station.
Nope.
And truth be told, long before that took place, they struggled like hell to put a crew together. Years.
That's why it dissolved in the end, because they couldn't. And it was,
I think that, I'm not sure how that is relevant to me.
only in the fact that when it was a recognized fire department, that East Tilton technically was covered by that fire department. And when that fire department dissolved, they technically lost that response from Winnisquam.
And we used to beat them there.
And you shouldn't have, but
After-
but at the same time, that was a 100% volunteer. I
It was.
don't believe there were any call people there. The chief might have been paid something, if I recall, but that was long before I came here. But I thought they should never have gotten rid of
It
it.
is relevant to the response times too.
Even if that is relevant somehow, it's not relevant to Park Street.
This is not part of Park Street. I think this is their next talk.
It's just a continuation. I wouldn't, yeah.
Is this not Park Street?
Well,
It's just a continued history.
yeah, it's
It's
just
just-
all in a line, it's just the
history of the
district
department.
facilities, Center Street, then they go into Park Street, then they go into planning.
It's just like on the first page, you're talking about 2 stations right off the bat. South Center Street, and then you go in, it's just,
Next talk.
It's just a continuation.
This where it says fire station planning efforts, it's part of the history, but maybe it should be on a separate slide, so as not to confuse it with being relevant to Park Street. Although I didn't
Oh, it
read
is
it,
history.
I didn't read it that way, but Kevin did.
Yeah, I didn't read it as associated to Park Street.
this thing, you get brief history, and you get planning efforts. Follows the line.
Any other questions or comments on page 3? Okay, jump to 4.
I don't like the third bullet under firehouse repairs. New construction is the only way.
What page do you want?
I'm on page 4, firehouse repairs, the third bullet.
Okay.
I can see people taking offense. The way that's worded.
Is the best way, maybe.
Yeah, the only I wouldn't use. New construction.
I would agree if you took out only and put it best.
Or the most efficient way.
Or new construction would ensure lawn taping. Get rid of the wood. Use the word would,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Something along that line.
not that.
Because you can't argue that. New construction would, definitely.
Right, but
Because
it's
you're not
not,
gonna
but
do,
you're not
any-
telling
you
everybody
can't
it's
do
the only
anything
way.
to Center Street Station other than new construction.
There's always another way.
Right,
And
There's always another way.
but new construction would ensure lawn taping.
I like that. It's-
Patchwork fixes is kind of. Oh, there's a better word. Not solved.
For that and thesaurus and figure out, is it a better way?
Or they just can't be solved. Major deficiencies.
Oh, there are
Are
some.
we talking about Center Street or are we talking, I guess we're talking about
Well,
both,
both of
because we
them.
don't
Yeah,
know,
it's
right?
definitely
If
both.
there are major deficiencies at both places that,
I mean, how do you fix the stairway at Center Street without rebuilding all?
Cannot be solved economically.
Functional obsolescence.
Independent inspections. Major deficiencies.
Solve it with an elevator.
Economic.
Build that.
I don't know. Patchwork fixes. Maybe, I mean, maybe that will, I don't know.
You don't want to look up a high-speed word in the thesaurus. You gotta keep it to,
General,
yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, patchwork, most people understand patchwork.
What do you think about the last bullet, putting at the end of that, has increased over 50% in 10 years to X number of calls annually?
so in 2015 or 14, we were around 1,400 calls. This year we're gonna be at 2,500 calls, so it's increased by 1,000 calls in 10 years. Oh, right around there.
Right, so we're leaving the guess, like, well, what is 50%? So, I mean, you could leave that whole thing in there, put a comma, and then put 1,500 to 2,500. Just give them the numbers.
Well,
That's not
1,500.
Make sure it's 50%.
That's not 50%,
Yeah,
that's less than 50%.
Or whatever, but whatever, make sure your numbers are right.
Yeah, well, so the, right here, the 50% is not.
Right,
You don't want anybody to catch you in that one, right?
right.
You could just say
That's
has
not
increased, instead of using the percent, has increased from. I don't know.
Like 1,400 to 2,500. Approximately 1,400 to approximately 2,500, because it's different every year.
Right. That's a lot more than 50%, so that's,
No, 1,400 to 2,500. Double 1,400, you get 28.
25,
Right.
50% of 14 is 7, so that'd be 21.
See, this is where you gotta be careful of the verbiage you use, so that the reader doesn't get.
That's true, 100% would be doubling.
Yeah.
right, that's why I'm like,
I wasn't reading it right.
Could be
I was just like, where's my math?
1,000, 1,200, 1,400.
But I was reading it as though 50%.
Right, that's what I'm saying, it's,
I was
it's
reading
more
it
than
wrong.
50%.
I was reading it wrong.
As will a bunch of other people in the room.
But you do have to be careful with it, like you say, I mean, because like when I do the drink prices and stuff over at the post, I mean, people are like, oh my God, 100%, how, that's like highway robbery to increase these, 100% profit, I'm like, you do realize that's only double what we actually pay for it. You know, it's like,
A good reply to that is, you ever own a business?
yeah.
Yeah.
When you pay $14 for it, they're making like 600-700% everywhere else.
Cover your labor.
So what did,
So, okay. I don't have a thought on you, but it doesn't matter.
If someone asks a question, we can answer it.
okay,
Do you wanna leave it as
Unless you
is?
wanna change it.
But it's more than 50%. I'd like an accurate number, whether we put actual numbers or an accurate percentage.
Or leave it for somebody to ask and you'll have the answer.
Right, but if we don't have a correct number in there,
I'll-
I've seen how that goes before too.
Well, over, but now we do, it's over a
I
fifty.
know, I got a guy for that.
So if
He's in
you,
Northfield.
if you have an actual number from 2014, and you have an actual number from 2024, on average, over the last 10 years, we have increased, and it's one number, whatever the average is.
That's another way of saying it.
As a percentage or as an
We,
actual
we've
number?
averaged 8% increase every year for the past 10 years.
In the last 10 years, we've almost doubled our calls. You know what? That's pretty impactful when you say it like that. We're doing almost twice the damn business that we were 10 years ago. But again, I just want an accurate number because
Yeah, I
there's
will,
always that one in the crowd to be like, 50%.
I will,
I think KW, I've heard that guy before.
I'll have the exact number, so if somebody asks a question, it's actually,
You can't have people in the audience that know your numbers better than you do.
so are we gonna leave that at over 50%, or are we
No,
gonna
he's
put
gonna
an
put it-
accurate number?
well, I'll have it's more than 50%, but I'll have the exact number.
But are we gonna put it in here, or are we gonna wait for someone to say, what's the accurate number?
Whatever you guys want is what I'll do.
I don't think we should be waiting for the question on that. I think we should have the accurate number there.
The calls are what, 2,500?
This year it'll be about 2,500, yeah.
And they used to be what,
1,400.
1,400? So 78%
So
increase.
say they've increased from 1,400 in 2014 to X in 2024, and let people do the math.
Their own figure.
14 to 25 is 78.5%.
Because I kind of like and then averages out to 7% increase
Then you
each
take
year
it
or whatever. but-
divided by that. All right,
And they're gonna look for a synonym for patchwork.
back here, yes.
That's not, I don't
You can
find
leave
that.
it. It doesn't
I
bother
mean,
me.
I know what patchwork is.
Cobbled.
So,
Not
it's
just
supposed
the
to
shoes
use,
anymore.
you're not supposed to use very big words. It's supposed to be very
Cobble's a
easily.
big word?
Cobbled, but some people might not be easily understood.
That's a fact.
You can,
I'm sure there's a question on calls.
They
Your
can
shoes
fix your
involved.
shoes.
Okay, page 5.
So I was told 2 pages ago, but that we weren't talking about a specific building, but page 5
This is all Park Street.
clearly is a specific building because we don't know, or we know that there's no trusses. That,
Right, so this
So-
is Park Street deficiency.
Yeah, so I actually wrote down, here, this is Park Street. Probably should-
Well, I mean, when you look through the next couple of pages, this is all parts. There's apparently no deficiencies in Central.
Of course, we're giving fixes for repairs,
what's the roof,
diaphragm. And it is filled
what is
with
roof?
diaphragm, roof diaphragm, your roof sheathing,
The sheathing.
and your nailing pattern creates a diaphragm.
Diaphragm or some kind of a pump.
Okay, so let's attack one issue at a time. So, the deficiencies on page 5 are at Park Street, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Are there any deficiencies listed at Center?
Very easy to make a list of what's right.
No,
No, we should have something listed there. There's several that could be easily listed.
right.
And I did send them the report from Primex and from the state fire marshal, the deficiencies that were noted.
Some of those have been corrected, right?
Some have been addressed.
So,
There you go.
let's go to page 6, and we're gonna add a second half, which is deficiencies of deficiencies at Center Street.
Well, I think Center Street should come first, because when you talk about the history, you start with Center Street and then you go to Park Street.
So that next page is combining both things. I'm confused.
It would be kind of cool to see actually is if they show the, so when we get out of, we're looking at, so we've got page 4, why are we here? And then we go over. I mean, even if we switch them around, it would be kind of cool, I think, just to have, because then they go and they show both stations. And we go, whichever one we put first, have the picture of the fire station, on 149 Park Street. And then we have, so as it would sit here, you make page 7, number 5, and then you make 5 and 6, 6 and 7, and then we get to the deficiency, whatever we put in for deficiencies, then we get to page 8, Center Street, and then we have how many of our deficiencies on Center Street. I think that would flow a little better personally.
Okay, so if we take the photo of Park Street and change that to page 5, which will be before the deficiencies at Park Street.
Why do we have a separate page with a picture? I guess that's.
Well, but I mean, just the way they have it
As
set
a
up.
header in front of
Like
the-
as a header before the deficiencies. And then, but to your point too, they might want to rearrange it totally.
Put
As
it
split
with when
screening.
you're talking about it, right? You really
Put it up in the corner.
Yeah.
like put your Center Street pic
Or,
on
yeah,
page 2, right? And then put another dorm room, and then on page 3, I was saying put the apparatus space, but why not just put?
But at the
Park
end of
Street
the
there.
day, that picture is gonna be so small on that slide.
Did I only go one on a screen?
Yes, it's going on a projector, but even if that's 5 feet wide,
maybe this page here, because we don't have any deficiencies, we go, just put this is the deficiency.
Deficiencies.
This is the deficiency. Just take a good damn look at
Any
it.
questions?
It would be easy
Deficiencies,
to make a
anyway.
list of
Yeah,
what's
we don't wanna
right.
get too specific, 'cause if somebody's gonna say, well, you got people living in that? What?
okay, so if we make page 7, page 5, make page 5, page 6, then we jump to deficiencies at Center Street.
And then we need a page after the picture that has the deficiencies listed.
Right, and then there's on page 6, those are actually common deficiencies, I think. No, No,
See, they're
the-
talking
the-
about some weird stuff that we're
Well,
not.
the second bullet there, additional structural concerns, those are just at Park Street, right?
But that assumes, right, but it assumes,
I don't like the way that whole
Where?
thing is done, because you talk about efficiency, and then they're offering suggestions
Solutions.
for.
Right.
Why don't we just get rid of the bullet points underneath each main, like roof trusses? We don't need what the current code is, or,
well, you can, the 40 versus 75 says, we know it doesn't handle current snow loads, right? Or you, instead of saying the 40 PSF, you just say,
we don't need the replacement recommended to
that,
meet
yeah,
current.
that's exactly, we don't need that. We don't need add moment frame, because then everybody's gonna say, we'll just add a moment frame.
Exactly, that's to say, when you put a solution next to the problem, that will be an option as opposed to a new building.
Install plywood diaphragm and proper wall ties, so they're saying, well, we don't need to do it.
I mean, and I think you want to list the efficiencies, you don't want to list.
I don't know, the ceiling lacks structural sheathing.
It's sheetrock.
Yeah, but you have a roof diaphragm, it's plywood above
It's
it.
plywood above it, but it probably doesn't.
Yeah, you don't have a ceiling diaphragm.
Right.
Somebody will question. it.
I'm
Well,
actually
I
down
would-
with that, just a list of the deficiencies without all the.
Like the,
You know what that tells you? I don't know.
Yeah, all
We need
these.
to be listing deficiencies, I guess that's, I mean, I know I'm taking a big step back.
Well, I think especially at Park Street, it's important, and I'll tell you why, because I've been talking with people. And a very common question I hear is, what's wrong with Park Street? Why do we need to replace it? Center Street, I don't think there's any question.
Yeah, Center Street pretty much is self-explanatory, but yeah. A lot of people think that Park Street is just like fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, you look at it from the
However, we need a
outside.
site for the new fire station, basically.
I think we're all assuming everybody knows that Center Street's deficient. I think there are people who don't even know it exists. They
Dude.
don't even
And that is very true.
Yeah,
I'll admit, when I moved here.
that's true.
I
I've been
thought
at
that
Park
was-
Street and I have somebody from Tilton show up at Park Street looking for a burning permit. I says, why didn't you go to Center Street? Where is that?
Right.
You passed it
Which
on
I
the way
think our
here.
survey was, but when I first moved here, I didn't know there was a Center Street
Yeah.
station.
Uh,
I remember going there to do a burn permit, I'm like, there's nobody here, what's wrong with this town?
the vast majority of people who
I didn't know you tasted
would say there's nothing wrong with Center Street are the ones that are voting no matter what. And if they did not,
I actually saw
they
it.
can't grasp what goes on over there.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a certain group of people that you've got to just say, look, I know you're not,
So
and there's nothing I can do to make you come with me. There's nothing.
Please don't come to the meeting when you go.
It's a cute bumper.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay, so back to,
Yeah, I wouldn't give solutions, I guess that's,
Yeah, I agree.
because the solutions are not economical anyway, so.
No, but guaranteed you'll have someone go, so
So we don't- how do we
if
know?
we gotta add hurricane ties, then just add them. And while you're at it, install the plywood diaphragm, and while you're at it, add the steel.
And see it.
Yeah.
And then when it's all done, it still doesn't meet the needs. All right.
Oh, exactly, but I'm just, you know, I just,
Well,
if you
we're
put a solution out there on the
transforming
screen
Park
for 'em.
Street now into a headquarters. And therefore, the garage is obsolete, right? I mean, I guess, is that putting it in too much of a,
No, but
A
in
big
this,
cloud?
in this plan, the current station is obsolete. It's inadequate and it's obsolete. I don't know, but you know, maybe you don't wanna say obsolete, but it's inadequate for this plan. It does not meet the needs for this plan, period. I'm not saying that's what
Does
they're
that mean
right
it would
there.
meet the needs for another plan?
What's that?
Does that mean it could meet the needs for another plan?
And that's what people might vote on. They might vote to spend more hundreds of thousands on a committee that keeps just doing the same thing 4 years after 4 years after 4 years. I won't be part of that though.
So deficiencies at Park Street. So we're gonna leave the deficiencies and scratch the remedies. Are we gonna change that to page 6?
yeah, I think you said
Yes,
doing
yeah.
And then we're gonna do deficiencies. Or we're gonna put 12 Center Street as the next page. The photograph, page 8 will become page 7. Page 6, we're gonna add deficiencies at Center Street, or no?
Who's, I
I
think
only
you
want
have
to
to
spend
follow,
on one shot.
I think you have to, follow a pattern here.
Right, there's gonna be 12.
Right, so you either list deficiencies on both stations or you don't. Is it dangerous if you don't? Maybe.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
good question.
but, or is it a paragraph rather than these little bullets that somebody's saying you can fix that?
On PowerPoint, you don't really do paragraphs though.
Well, you can put deficiencies and just say that it's, doesn't meet the current needs and, well, I guess you could put, if you're gonna put bullets for Park Street, then you gotta put bullets for,
Yeah, you wanna be the same.
There's something.
and I would, instead of roof, I would just say it's structurally inadequate, structurally and it's outdated or something. They must have, they got this straight from the report.
On page 3, it says, design consideration built with a potential for future addition of living quarters. On page 6, it says, where the hell did it go? I just read somewhere that there was a complete conflict with that statement.
Existing wall foundation design, existing masonry wall and concrete foundation not designed to accommodate additional snow, road drift applied by a building addition placed adjacent to the existing building.
So over here, we built it that way, but over there, it's no good.
That's right, the engineers looked at what was put in the ground there and said that it's inadequate for what we want to add. If we were going to do an addition next to it, it's not adequate.
Next to it or onto it?
I guess,
Is there a difference?
well, it depends upon how close next to it is.
You get a snow drift. I mean, you, for all intents and purposes too, you can say it's built, Park Street's built on poor soils, right? I mean, I don't know where you go with this, I guess.
Well, I would have that, built with the thought for future addition of living quarters, instead of using the word potential. Nobody did a structural analysis of whether you actually could do that or not, versus potential tells me, seems to lead you to think that it was
That
more.
it was made.
Right, we had it all planned out.
I almost would scratch that design consideration. Right, did it come with, it came with building plans for the addition, or it didn't?
No.
Somebody came up with some addition plans later on, somewhere, right? I remember seeing it on a board somewhere.
There's a plan, and it was an engineered plan
And was it to the back?
It wasn't engineered, it was somebody volunteered as an architect, designed a living quarters to the left of the apparatus bay that was attached, they were attached, but there was no engineer stamp on it at all.
So you've
Somebody
seen,
volunteered, yes, I've seen it.
Well, if you build a new addition, you can design it for snow floor. So that doesn't mean you can't build it.
and that's what,
It wasn't all I'm saying, it wasn't an engineered plan, there was no engineering stamp. Someone volunteered at the time, this is the story I heard, I've seen it, the plan, there's no engineering stamp, architectural stamp.
there was professional involvement, I know that, whether
Right.
it was volunteered or otherwise.
Right, that's,
But it wasn't the original design consideration, it was to be built with the potential for an addition, or was it?
I was
Street.
around here. That was
Well, I know, but
Those-
we're stating it, so
My
somebody
history
better,
tells me that it
I know.
was.
who came up with this?
It's, I mean, trying to make plans based on one big old anecdote that's been passed around
I,
town.
I wasn't around in '85 for this. I mean, I'm not here.
So,
Most,
But I
so
remember
we
the
scratch
concept.
this.
they pulled off the website.
Oh,
I'm not sure about that specifically, but a lot of this general information was obtained from that website.
That was back in the age, you know, there was no question that the Tilton PD needed to move out from below our feet. It was woefully inadequate, running the police department out of the basement of this building. And then they went and designed that one with the same kind of mentality, like, oh, yeah, you know, it was kind of like a, you know, it's just bubblegum planning. I mean, way back then, it was just,
Three-bedroom ranch.
everybody,
That's what it was, yeah.
you know, but, you know, it's something that's plagued this community. It was like, well, you know, me and the boys can get together and build something way cheaper than that. And that's kind of, it's not what happened necessarily, but obviously, it was woefully inadequate the day they built it.
Okay, so back to page 3.
yeah, do we need that line? I wasn't aware it was built with the potential for a future living quarters, other than talk about it.
I don't think we need one.
all right, thank you.
I agree.
I mean, it just leads a path, down to a path of,
It's another rabbit hole,
yeah,
Yes.
It is, it's a huge rabbit
that's
hole.
all it is.
and it's not even a,
Okay, so back to page 6, the old page 6. So are we gonna list several deficiencies of Center Street?
I just put it on our feet accidentally. Here we go.
Yeah.
And then
On
finish
on
it
its own
off
page,
with,
after the picture of Center Street.
Center Street is now page 7. So page 6 is gonna become page 8.
however, it's a continuation of page.
Except that I think these deficiencies listed on our new page 8 are common to both buildings.
No, you talk about building the building next to, well,
That page won't be needed once they take all
what
the
mason,
ribbons.
is there a masonry wall somewhere? Center Street?
At Center Street? No.
What, they're talking about an existing masonry
I
wall.
think that,
Park
the only
Street's
masonry wall that I am aware of at any of our fire stations is a veneer wall, which is the front of Park Street. It's
The
non-structural.
The first bullet on that is talking about essential structures, which would be both buildings.
Correct.
Yes.
So what we should do is separate that from the,
Somebody's gonna say, what is structural risk category 4? What does that mean?
Right.
It's this, it's not, category 5 is like the new comm center, which is much more stricter.
But this is saying we don't need structural, but category 4.
We don't.
And somebody's gonna say, what does that mean?
Right, so I'll come up with the proper definition of it.
Well, it's in the code, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying, that's the first thing, somebody's gonna go,
It's a structure that should be able to withstand
So-
hurricane
higher forces,
than
snow,
what's
wind.
normal, than
Correct.
what we can expect here, to a certain
At
level.
one point, there's a factor involved, I don't know if it's over 1.9 for different things. I don't know if anybody's gonna
These
ask.
requirements that we're playing with are for new buildings.
They are.
There is no requirement to change
That is true.
Park Street to meet these new requirements. Right? There's nothing that you have by January 5th, 2029, that building must meet current code. It doesn't exist, it's not
No, but
there.
I think the things that we've discussed over the last few years is the point where, no, we don't have to do anything by a certain date to be within code. However, let's go back to the story about the intent of that building. If we were to build onto it, then you must meet, anything new that we build must meet code. And to be able to build something onto that meets code, nullifies nullifies the existence of the current building for the most part.
Yeah,
Is that not what
we're not stating that, and we need to. I don't know the right
You want,
way.
you're
I don't know
looking
the
for
right
the
way.
public's blessing to crush that thing based on a new building, not on new building terms.
Well, we know we need to build the new building, because we need to replace Center Street.
Yeah, we need to replace it.
Nobody's arguing, I can't find anyone who I consider at all intelligent arguing against Center Street.
Correct, so where are we
When it
putting
comes
the
to Park
people?
Street, that's the big nut you gotta crack, because
Right,
as
so
I
we're
sit here,
replacing
I'm
Center
saying,
Street.
this is for new building.
Right, but that, and I think
Center
that's not the
Street's our
crack, it's
headquarters.
actually for the faction out there that thinks we only need one station. So if you take the one station, so let's just say, you know, not that, I don't wanna reinvent anything we've done, but
No,
and that's why we're at where we're at right now, because we've crossed that hurdle about whether or not we're gonna have that one location, because if we're gonna do the one location, then in fact, that building will probably come down, because you cannot build a headquarters down there. If you're gonna you can't add on that building without coming to code. Like you said, there's no expiration date on that building right now, until we decide to build onto it and make it, like if we all decided, like, if back a while ago we said, we're getting rid of Center Station, Northfield's gonna be the Tilton Northfield Fire District. That's gonna be the department down there, that's where everything's gonna be. Okay, what are we gonna do? We gotta build dormitories, we gotta build, all of our headquarters stuff. Well, how are we gonna do that? Well, we're gonna add onto this building. Well, now we gotta meet code. Well, how are we gonna do that? We gotta tear that son of a gun down.
Well,
I think that's essentially where we were.
But what we're saying now is, we're taking the headquarters that is currently at Center Street, and it's going to Park Street, so we have we need to be able to relate, you can't save the structure and build a headquarter dormitory station,
Right.
or a headquarters and a station at Park Street. We're utilizing the land, and I don't know how to articulate that.
It's important to fall back on the survey, where we did not get definitive guidance as far as the location of a single station.
Right.
This project is in response to that questionnaire, which was the people in Tilton want one in Tilton, the people in Northfield want one in Northfield. We're responding to their request, and it's important to fall back on that.
Where does that say that here?
It doesn't. It says it in the 78 pages of the survey results.
Right, so it belongs here. That's my point.
That's a valid point.
That's my point, it belongs right here. Actually, even before all this, our purpose, we have a guidelines that we've been given, and that should be right up front. And it should be, the results of the survey should be right up front, right? Do we have results of the survey at all in here?
No.
No,
And Lorero has received the survey, the final report.
Just for a check on learning here, did When the commissioners came out with the new directive of the two building thing, was that after the survey?
Yes.
That was after the survey.
Well,
Okay, and the reason why I wanted to point that out is, we have like, to your point, we're responding to a survey, the commissioners responded to the survey, came up with a new directive to the building committee. The building committee has now moved forward with that new directive that was ascertained from the survey.
So the very first, or page 2, should be one slide that talks about the results of the survey, and then the next thing was the commissioner's directive was to blah, blah, right? We have to
Yeah,
reduce
you know,
it, I mean, we have to reduce the directive to a 1 or 2 liner, but
Right, and then we can address rate, I mean, I don't know if we're ever
Well-
able to really address the questions from the survey, but people may,
no, I
it
think we
won't
need to
take a
write
whole
that
lot.
page for them.
we can, you know, the first page is the history. I think that's important. Then why are we here?
Okay,
We could
Right.
put the,
why are we here?
Yep,
There
absolutely.
you go. Survey results. And basically, it's a one-liner just giving them the results, right?
right,
That. Do you have a summary? Do you want to each give us a summary that's brief?
I it was brief.
I don't think it was.
there
brief
was
enough.
nothing.
It would lost, you would lose people.
just
I'm
point
looking
out-
for a one bulleted item.
Right, we can just put out the survey,
Results showed that townspeople wanted 2 stations.
right. That's the highlight.
Just,
So you're thinking we'd do the history, and then you would have that survey, and then the directive, and then go into, where'd you put the, what order would you put those things in?
Well, like, I think Lisa was saying, like, the why we're here, we could start the
Yeah.
why we're here
Why
out
we're
with
here.
the survey.
So, yeah, we had the survey.
Survey.
The
Showed
results of the
this-
survey
showed
showed
district
that
residents
the
wanted
residents
to-
wanted to maintain 2 fire stations. Mainly 1 in each town. The commissioners took that result and charged the building committee to come up with a plan that meets that, the results of that.
So there's a printed summary, right, somewhere?
Yes. It's on the website. It's part of the survey.
I've got that before, but this one-
It's 78 pages long.
The survey is with summary stuff.
The executive summary should be in the front.
The
It wasn't
results
brief.
of the survey is 78 pages long, not the survey itself. There is a conclusion.
I think that why we were here, some of that needs to be, I think some of these things need to be separated, because I'm just thinking aloud. So, we're gonna talk about the history of the fire department and the current locations. And then we talk about some of the, in my view, why did the topic even come up to put together a committee to talk about fire station? Because we have these deficiencies. And then we created a survey, and then the commissioners came up with a directive, and that created the process, which then ferreted out some of these additional deficiencies. Because you're already in the, why are we here? Firefighter health and safety, new stations. The very first thing you're talking about is new stations. Well, that should come later. The deficiency is there's a health and safety issue. And what is that? There's a health and safety
Antiquated
issue, and
stations.
you should already assume you know what that is, and this is the solution. Again, we're doing the problem with solutions instead of a logical process.
Because we're too close to it, is what, you realize that, right?
Is that why we're having that problem?
Yeah, we already know why we're here. We're not telling them why, we're not telling anybody else, it's a big secret, right?
But in the end, what we have to do with this is tell a story
Right.
that leads you from point A to point B. And at the end of it, whether you agree with it or not,
Right.
it's a logical progression from point A to point B without you having to come up with your own
Right.
filling the blanks.
Well, and so making these comments on the, the very first page, doing nothing leaves unsafe. It's like, that's a conclusion that should be farther down. If you have to say it at all, because if your presentation's right,
Yeah,
you
won't
don't have to say it
it.
because
No.
The audience has to realize that for themselves. Really,
Yeah, and they realize it in the story that you tell.
right.
But you know what,
Beginning to
maybe
end.
our survey, you know how they started out with fire station planning efforts? We said multiple attempts have been made, we talk about the resolution. Maybe, we'd say that the commissioners decided to do a survey, and then the survey results right in there. I guess it's still why are we here? It needs to be there though. The-
it needs to flow in the
flow in the,
proper order.
it needs to
Right.
flow in the order, right. And it is part of the fire station planning efforts that you solicited for a survey, right?
Yeah, because of the failures of all the other efforts that had taken place beforehand, we obviously didn't have a grasp of what the community was looking for. And we used the survey to help us come up with that better understanding of what the community was looking for.
So it was 2024 we did that, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
July of 2024 is when we did the survey.
And the commissioners are the ones that
Commission the survey.
commission the survey, so we kind of need,
Do you want to scratch the whole Winnisquam Fire Department then? And put the survey in place?
I don't know that it needs going in place of it, but we need, I think this is where the survey goes, and
It doesn't really add that much value to it.
I think Winnisquam Fire Department is irrelevant.
other than we need to respond to this.
Right.
We always did.
East Tilton is relevant, but, Ashland, Winnisquam.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter, I mean, you can, in the, somewhere with the calls, where you say the call volume has increased, can you make a statement that more notably you've seen an increase in East?
That's very easily stated.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna highlight the survey intent and results on that page 3, right?
Yes. Unfortunately, it's not something the railroad can write, right? I mean, we almost have to write it.
We can do that.
Right, that's what, we should.
I think one of the easiest things, well, hopefully it's the easiest thing, is to come up with a list of deficiencies for Center Street. I think that's pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
We need to come up with some verbiage about the survey. Really short summary of what the survey said.
Right, it showed that district residents wanted 2 stations, 1 in each town. They wanted to maintain 2 stations, one in each town. Then you'd have the fire commissioners direct.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause quite frankly, the rest of the survey was kind of like all over the place. That was really the only resounding thing that,
Right.
it was like,
We got no consensus out of it.
I'm not
That's the
even-
result.
No, I think
People
it was
were saying,
weird stuff.
Well, if there was consensus, you wouldn't have needed to send a survey out, and we would have had to build it 20 years ago.
right.
My biggest take from the survey is people lied like rugs on how much money they make.
Oh, yeah, the average salary was over 200 grand. Wow.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, because we were talking about, and then the bulk of the people were over 75 years old. I'm like,
Yeah,
can't
and
wait
that,
to collect
honestly,
this.
that takes away
right.
from the credibility of
It
the whole
does,
damn
it
thing.
does.
Yeah, it's just,
It is what it is,
It is what it
and that's what we, and that's all that we
that's
have.
my least liked saying, but it's also the most factual saying in existence, I think.
Unfortunately.
Okay, so
Just like mine, I used to go, oh my gosh, you ain't gotta like it, you just gotta do it. You watch Marty Car Fire.
So on page 3, we're gonna scratch the Winnisquam and we're gonna add the survey intent and results, and we're gonna write that. So I'll work on that and we'll discuss it in our next meeting.
Which is,
I'm looking at the calendar, I think it's the 29th.
It's the
27th.
Monday the 27th. There's a little bit.
So, but this does not have to be complete until 1 month from now, so we do have
Do
time.
we have to meet to agree to that?
I think we should meet to,
We haven't got through here.
I
Yeah.
think we-
Well, no, I understand that, but I'm just saying first, if we wanted to add a bullet or sorts.
I think we're adding a lot right now.
Yeah.
We're
we've
gonna need to
taken
review
out
it
a
all
lot and
again.
they've added a lot.
Right, well, no,
Yeah,
that's
we-
true.
we need to
No, I'm not
get
saying,
to-
no, we were saying, because it's, the 27th is quite a ways out. I'm saying to make, if
we
to
can
to
do
have
a
an
meeting
agreement
next
on,
week.
I'm just talking about to facilitate getting, you know, if there's some bullets that we want in there, that, you know, that we can get that to them.
All right,
Between now and the
so
27th.
we're back to the old page 6, which is the new page 8.
Feel like on a Jersey Turnpike. Used to be
Formerly.
Yeah.
Used to be exit 8. I was 40.
We're gonna list the deficiencies of Center Street. And then we're gonna scratch,
Both, you can list the deficient, both buildings don't meet current codes, it's still a deficiency. I know you
It's a
disagree
fact.
with me, it's a fact.
Maybe it's
They
a fact.
don't, there's nothing requiring you to change it, but when the hurricane comes, you're gonna lose your, you know, millions of dollars worth of equipment, because it's parked in the building. I don't know the EDC, people are gonna ask, what the heck's risk category for, and maybe that's too detailed. Both structures have structural deficiencies.
So like, that sounds like, all right, here's deficiencies, and that's sort of a summary statement.
It is a summary statement, that's why I was saying, when you start pointing at each little thing, I almost want the broader thing that says both buildings have structural deficiencies, and they do.
You're saying opposed to listing every individual?
Right. I mean, somebody might ask, well,
Right.
give me
Someone's
one
gonna
of
say
them.
like what?
Like what?
Okay.
And then you
You know
know,
what, we just didn't wanna bore you with 27 pages of,
I mean, somebody says the floor slab's cracked, so what? Right, my garage has cracks in its brand new garage.
Really? They didn't put the relief cuts in there?
Oh, I have a relief fence. It was a compaction issue, I think.
okay,
But
so
it's not
That
bad,
would
it's
really-
not
that
real
would
bad, but
Really
it's,
frost me.
focus. So we're gonna list the deficiencies of Center Street. Now, we're gonna make a broad comment that both buildings have structural deficiencies. Then we're gonna move on to proposed station, which is page 9. So the first one is Sanborn Road. That's this page.
And we're leading with Sandboard Road first.
Just to
It's not the head.
maintain.
That's the first one to be built in the plan.
Okay.
So my only comment on, it's just this is page 10, is it doesn't, the drawing on page 10 doesn't match the drawing on page 11. And the only difference is that on page 11 it shows where the handicap parking is, and on page 10 it doesn't. Is that too nitpicky?
Why do we have both?
And why are they showing you twice? I don't know.
Well, and then, right, and if it was me, I'd be showing the pictures of the building first. And starting out with stats, it's like the slides are in the wrong order. You know, here's the nice color renderings, here's the elevations.
Oh, at the end?
Here's the floor plan, here's what it looks like on the lot,
So the
and,
right here on page 10, it should be a picture of the proposed building.
right,
The
That's what- that's
the
what I'm saying.
rendering, you
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And it can be in a small one, and you might still have, well, these are gonna be on a board anyway.
Yeah,
right?
but you can duplicate it here, because the very next page is the same thing that's on this page, but it,
Right, yeah. I would put the,
So-
I agree, rendering on page 10.
So on page 10, we're gonna scrap that plan view, we're gonna install a rendering, we're gonna scratch page 11.
are we?
no, we
No.
don't need
No.
this.
I don't know,
Well,
scratch it.
no.
I think you're just saying why
We're
have,
duplicating it, so why not put,
Right.
I'd rather duplicate the
I guess-
rendering than.
I guess if I was trying to sell this to the crowd, and I'm sorry to use the word sell, but I'd be starting with the rendering.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's sexy.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
You know, and then you move to the elevations, it's like, okay, I just saw the renderings, and these are the, and I don't know if you need
So
all
what
four of
you're
the
saying
Yeah,
is,
they're out of order.
what
So
you're
say, I would do
saying
this whole
is,
section backwards.
is move this to after this.
No,
Well,
I would,
before that,
I would do this page last. Sanborn Road, here it is. Here's the renderings, ooh, look at that, isn't that, that's nice.
Oh, I see what you're
Here's your
saying.
elevation.
Oh, okay, sure.
Got it,
Here's
got
your
it.
floor plan.
he's selling you a car.
Here's,
When you look at it, you look at the shiny new car in the
You
in
don't
the
get into the
showroom.
owner's manual till later.
Right.
here's the
So
owner.
we're gonna make this
So
page 10,
Correct.
we're gonna make this page 11.
And that's just my suggestion.
I agree with you.
So that the elevation, the rendering is page 10.
Then the elevations will be
Elevations will-
12 and 13.
Wait a minute, what's 11?
11 is this rendering.
I thought that was 10.
That's 10.
10, 11.
That's 11.
We have two
There's two renderings.
renderings. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, got it,
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
Because people are
And
gonna,
then 14 becomes, no, 13 becomes 12. 14 becomes 13.
11 becomes 15. 10, 11, 12, 15.
12. 12 becomes 14. Right?
Yeah.
Floor plan is 14. Then the site plan is 15. and then 10 becomes 16.
Yep.
Right, and then you stop on this one, and then this gives you all the pertinent details.
Yeah, it's a summary.
Yeah.
Summarize everything you
Yeah.
just looked at. That's a good idea.
And so that probably carries forward with the Park Street.
Yeah.
This is page 16, isn't it? The summary's page 16.
Grandfather would have said you're a pretty fast mellow.
Yes, 16. So now we go to Park Street, so the 24 becomes 17, 18. This big blue page is 17 now. Okay. And then 18 will be the front rendering. 19 will be the other front rendering. Twenty-one becomes 20. Twenty-two becomes 21. Twenty becomes 22. 19 becomes 23. And 18 becomes 24.
What was page 20, what does that become?
We'll go through them. This is 17. Okay, that one remains unchanged. And then so that's 17. This is 18.
Yep.
The one before that is 19.
I had it backwards. Okay.
I don't think it matters, honestly. And then exterior elevations becomes 20. That's, oh, I'm sorry. What's, yeah, that's
you're
the
right.
front. I wanted the front elevation to be first.
So that's 20.
So that's 20. And then
22 is 21. The east and
22
west.
becomes 21.
Right.
20 becomes 22. Nineteen becomes 23. And the summary becomes 24.
Are we changing the picture on there too?
And, yeah, we'll put a rendering on that.
Do we need a rendering there, or just make the words bigger? Because you're gonna show them the same picture twice?
Either one.
And I'm
They
not
need
sure.
to increase their site plan.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, but this one, should this image be on this page without all that extra drainage and,
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, this one gives you the bigger view of the property, but it seems pretty cluttered.
It's just, I don't think that's gonna make a difference with people as far as, you know, a nice
Oh,
clean,
so
a nice
use
clean
this
pick like
one
that.
on page 23, is what you're saying, cut it.
I don't know, I guess.
Yeah,
Right, and just axe this one in its entirety, the site.
right, showing little pipes and this and that just gets.
I mean, that might be a nice one to have blown up sitting on the easel somewhere.
Right.
Somebody,
So if you
Although
look
it's
at the
actually a
other
bigger
one,
view though,
it is a bigger view.
it gives people an idea of like, Cause you don't even see,
just
you don't
see
even
where the
see,
high,
See the
Or
some
we'll
Barn
street
ramp
is
is.
even,
Right, yeah.
All we gotta do is ask them for that one without all the drainage lines, right?
Right, but it is,
Yeah, you're right. I kind of like the bigger view with the street in there. Just
So just make it
Less
bigger, you
detail.
can get that bigger on that page.
I would think so,
Right.
although
Just make it
it's
bigger, leave it
because
as it
it's a
is.
proportion. They could take their legend stuff off, you know what I mean, and make it so that, I don't know. They're just taking their drawing and putting,
All right, so now,
Okay, so I wanna make sure I have this correct. So going in the order that they're stapled together, at the proposed station is page 17. The next page is 24. The page after that is 23. The page after that is 22. The page after that is 19.
I have,
20.
Oh, 20.
20.
yeah, south and north elevations.
All right. The page after that is
21.
21. Page after that is 18
Or 19.
or 19, and the page after that is either 19 or 18.
Okay, so we're up to 25, the projected utility costs.
Does that need to be a top?
Well, both select boards talked about it when we met with them.
So add existing to new comparison, what are we adding, what are we asking?
I think, I don't know if the word utility is gonna, because I was looking at it going utilities, right, so it's running water and sewer. That's not what we're, this
Yeah, I
is.
think it's the ongoing operating
operating
Right,
costs.
I think there's a.
Oh, operating,
Right.
oh, that's totally different.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And that should probably come after the actual cost, construction
Towards the
cost.
end, yeah.
Okay, so let's make 26, we'll make that 25. 27, we'll make 26. 25, we'll make 27.
You wanna put that before the guaranteed maximum price?
Yeah, I want the guaranteed maximum price, the last one,
That'd still be 28.
28.
So some of the things that are not included in this guaranteed maximum price is the testing, an engineering report that Lisa's gonna do the RFP for. The clerk of the works cost.
We doing an RFP for that, or do you have somebody?
We haven't discussed it yet, but that cost needs to be in there. And that can run anywhere from 1 to 5% of the cost of the project. And then fixtures, furniture, and equipment, there's no number on this for that. Do we want it in here? Or how do the commissioners want to handle it? Do they want us to, like if this passes, do we want to add some of the stuff into the operating budget so it's not,
Part of the
I
bond?
mean, this is many ways of doing it. Separate warrant article for FF&E or, you know,
Well, and isn't some of that
I
fixtures?
don't recommend that at all,
I don't either,
because
but,
you're gonna get none, you're not gonna get any if you do that.
yeah,
Well, there's a chance you won't get any, then what do you do with that big empty building?
yeah.
But some of those costs will come out of the equipment apparatus fund, won't they?
Yes, but there would have to be an appropriation at the district meeting to appropriate the money to do that. And I have a whole spreadsheet.
That's risky
As compared to,
Including it in the bond?
in the project.
oh,
If you need $350,000 for FFE, you're gonna amend that to 80 grand. Then what?
You're building.
The empty building, like
Right.
you just said, right?
And it kind of has to be part of the project.
Right. Okay.
That doesn't mean you have to bond it.
Correct. But it has to be appropriate, it has to
It has to
pass.
be listed
Has
somehow
to
and
pass.
passed. And once the project is approved at whatever that number is, the first part of the project is a construction loan. It's not the bond. You don't bond it until it's all said and done. Part of construction loan, that say at the next district meeting say, we think we should fund this portion of the project from the apparatus and
fund.
equipment account in the amount of this to buy these things. If not, it'll be bonded at the end, which is
Option.
an option. It gives the residents an option, and you sell it that way as reducing the overall cost of the bond in the end by getting allowed purchases from the apparatus and expense fund for equipment and things like that. I mean, certainly, you can't buy desks or training room desks or tables or whatever, chairs. That can't come out of that fund as it stands now.
Not the way it's currently.
Yeah,
So,
but there probably will have to be an FF&E line item.
if it gets to the point where it's decided that you're gonna use the apparatus and equipment fund, you're gonna want a damn good accounting of that fund to show that we're not gonna borrow money for our next fire truck because we spent it over there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have a pretty good spreadsheet going on right now for FF&E for the two stations to kind of figure out what we need that's not included in the building part. And I started this spreadsheet when I first arrived here, when I started working on fire station projects and stuff like that. So a lot of the stuff in FF&E, some of the big stuff, we purchased already.
But so things like a Plano vent or whatever that's called for the fire trucks, that's in the quote,
That's already in the
because
project.
it's part of the building.
Yes.
But if you're buying, or like the unit that's going to hang the hoses in the hose draining tower.
I read that. That's in the the building description. That said it was in there. Didn't say we had to pay for it separately. Did you see that, Lisa?
I don't remember, they did have a list of it.
Yeah. And they actually had the thing that was in there. And I would actually prefer to have that part of the building so it's operational and right and not leaving it up to us to figure it out afterwards.
So what kind of line item do we, when I was just writing FF&E, it's not that kind of stuff, but there's desks
Desks.
and, so maybe here we say FF&E and then say building components only, meaning it's not a fire truck, it's not a, I don't know, how do you separate it out?
I don't know. And the fire stations that I built, FF&E was just fixtures, furniture, and equipment.
Right.
And
So
I don't think we said it wasn't. I don't think we ever said it doesn't.
doesn't come out of the FF&E.
It doesn't come out of the apparatus and equipment fund. But in the other municipalities that I worked with in this, that they didn't have an apparatus and equipment fund similar to what we have. And excuse me.
Right, but desks and chairs aren't coming out of the apparatus.
Right.
Yeah.
So, just looking for the right line item that we need. We've got clerk of the works, special inspections, FF&E.
It's most accurately described as furnitures, fixtures, and equipment. It's no longer You could call it something else, but it's not gonna change what it is.
Well, it also says what it's not. It's not a fire truck, it's not an ambulance.
Right. So we just would have a line item for FF&E in this estimate. What else are we missing? There's gotta be stuff. It's always these other costs, you go, oh yeah. But again, I don't know that that's the intent for this, but you want a final number,
Anything that's
right?
part of that bottom line, you gotta
You
know.
gotta know ahead of time, before our public
Yes,
presentation.
yeah.
Okay.
I just had that image of Rodney Dangerfield in Back to School. Oh, you're missing a whole bunch of things.
Yeah,
Greasing the palms of the.
yeah.
So, in the projected operating costs, we're not gonna ask Lorero to do that because
Are we sure that's what, we know what that means?
I bet
I
it's
think-
staffing and all, you know,
Because
Project-
utility, why am I, these pages like, pages on me.
just because Lorero put it on there doesn't mean it's what we want or need. So,
Because utility, there it is, add existing to new, meaning what does it cost to run the building now? What's it gonna cost to run the building? That has nothing to do with total budget, in my head.
no, it doesn't.
That's a
That's
totally different
another-
question,
think
what's
it's-
our budget now, what's it gonna be?
Right.
I was gonna say,
what
should
we're
this,
looking
should this
for
slide need to be there?
at the end of the day, whether it says it on this page or not, is what is it gonna cost to run those two new buildings with all the personnel? And if you wanna compare that to what it costs to do it now, that's fine, but what we've been asked by the Northfield, one of the Northfield Board of Selectmen, is to provide the operating costs. I spoke with him.
Including staff.
Including staffing. So whether or not Lorero wants that in our presentation,
Is it
we've
relevant?
we've been requested to include
Now,
it.
the Tilton Board of Selectmen asked it differently, but more thoroughly, and they asked it because the cost of running the police station was more than they anticipated as far as electric, heat and such.
So they were
And so
truly
they were-
looking at
they were very
building, not staffing.
Right. How much more are you gonna spend? Which makes perfect sense to me,
Bigger
right,
building.
you know? How much more is it gonna cost?
So
I
I
think-
asked Lorero to look at that, operating the building costs, not personnel, because they have better wherewithal to figure that out.
So you're gonna project the personnel costs.
I already have that. I did
Okay.
that already. It's sitting on my desk. It's a little spreadsheet.
Maybe we could be prepared. I'm not asking for this to be in the slide, but maybe to be prepared for it. Obviously, with two new buildings, I know we have costs of maintenance and repairs over the years. So it might be nice to know that as well, because everybody's, oh, it's gonna cost this much more. Yes, but you gotta also factor in what some of the minuses.
Well,
Because I know we put a lot of money into these.
Having been a commissioner, we put off many repairs.
Right.
And what we're gonna find if we dig too deep into that is that our maintenance has been minimal. A lot more minimal than it should have been.
That's true too, yeah.
You know, just take Park Street, for instance. You put some doors and windows in that place. It needs a lot more than
Oh,
doors and
I know.
windows. So, I don't think that's gonna give us a good,
No, but I mean, it is.
accurate number of what the maintenance costs.
I think it's a fair question, because you can't just say, well, the new building's all modern, so it's gonna, be more efficient for
No,
heat.
'cause
Yeah, but
doubling the
it's-
size.
Double the size,
Double the
yeah, it's gonna
size.
cost more.
And you're gonna have more lights that are on
Right.
all the time.
And you've got, this many more firefighters too.
That's the big one,
That's the
Okay.
big,
So,
because that doesn't expire in 20 years.
Is there anything else we need to talk about with respect to this? Other than when we're gonna review it next?
Page 29. Page 29.
Then there's lots of
The last page.
Yes, is this something they threw on there, or what?
I didn't put it on there.
I think
Yeah, I
I
was
would
gonna worry
just
about
go
that.
Q&A, that's a sales pitch.
Yeah.
This needs to go away.
Yeah.
Because it's not true. Part of it is, part of it's not. Facilities are failing. Firefighters are not, those are both true. This project ensures they can keep delivering the service you value. They're delivering the service you value out of the two shitholes we got. New building's not gonna change that.
Right,
not the kind
an
of people
accurate
we have.
statement, right?
I think I would just have Q&A. I think at this point, you're gonna start losing people anyway. People
This
are
can
waiting
get,
for the
this
Q&A.
might be the part where it
Q&A
really gets
is-
hot.
The Q&A is for people are waiting, right?
Yes.
So our next meeting is presently scheduled for the 27th, which is a month from yesterday. I'm sorry, 3 weeks from yesterday.
I never put the dates of the meetings.
The 17th at Tilton PD, 19th
November.
11.
at Park Street.
November.
November
Yeah, November.
17th is,
So we can meet, I assume Mondays and Tuesdays are still good for everyone?
Well, let's see what other meetings are going on. Next week, 13th is Columbus Day, 14th, Commissioners are meeting on the 14th.
You're talking about this month?
This month. The 20th is open currently. The 21st is currently open. The 27th, we have a scheduled meeting, the 28th.
I'm good for the 20th or the 21st. You're good or not?
No, I can't.
Either of those.
No, I have an inspection. It's just a tough month for me. I think our budget was pushed out to November.
When is good?
Well, if you take out Fridays, I've got, let's see, today's the 7th. I've got this Thursday, I've got, next Tuesday, the 14th. Next Wednesday, the 22nd, and the 23rd.
22nd, we have a budget meeting.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, I just, yeah.
How's the
But you-
14th? Next, 1 week from tonight.
Commissioners
Commissioners meeting.
meeting.
And you know, we can't all, I mean, don't, if I don't make it.
21st don't work?
No, I'm a district commander, I have to do all my inspections this month.
This is the most important part of this 4-year process, so I want to try to.
No, I
make sure
understand that,
you said you were available the 15th?
no. The 14th, like I said, the Fridays, I have all my Fridays open, but as far as weekends, I have Thursday the 9th, this Thursday I have the 14th, Tuesday the 14th, Wednesday the 22nd, Thursday the 23rd, and by that it's, I mean, but then we have the 27th, it's regularly scheduled, so.
I can do the 14th, I can't do it.
What about the 13th? I know it's a holiday, but
Oh, the third, yeah, the third, you know what? That actually works for me, because they pushed theirs out to November. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, we can't do the 13th.
I know, that's why, it's tough, that's why, I mean,
Well,
we've all missed a meeting here or there, it's just, that, it's the nature of the beast,
Chief, you're gonna get that off to Lorero tonight or tomorrow,
Yeah.
and then I'll work on my portion of it. Do you wanna just distribute it? Are you guys comfortable with that? If we just send it out and have everyone look at it?
So when they send it back to me, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm cool, I think we
At
can
what,
work.
at what point would we make changes?
Well, you could suggest changes, or we could wait till the 27th.
I think I heard the 23rd. Was anybody not available the 23rd? That's sooner than the 27th, but not by a lot.
I'm available.
I'm available on the 23rd, yeah.
October 23rd?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
That was when I'm gonna have that first information.
yeah,
It's
that's,
a Thursday, Kevin.
I'd like to avoid it.
I finally found that thing they call a calendar in there. I looked for it.
They all have
Okay.
it, I'm just gonna find it.
Next meeting will be Thursday, the 23rd at 5:30. Right here if it's available. And then our next meeting will be the 27th, also at 5:30. Sounds good.
Hopefully we can keep that one somewhat short.
Yeah, I think we, well, we've got a good outline of what we want. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Move that we adjourn. That's Dennis.
A second. All those in favor? Aye. 7 opposed, 753, Lauren, thank you.
Thanks for all you've done, Lauren. I don't know
Yes.
how you do it or how we'll get through it. Good luck to you wherever